right before going there, though, even though I knew I was going to be trying something maybe weird, I was just like going on his Instagram page just to get to kind of refresh my memory. And his first photo at the very top, I didn't realize this, but the first one is just like a large cup with like a deer's brain sitting in it. And it's like, so it's like a full intact brain. And I was like, oh no, I was like, I'm okay with like experimenting, but like, I don't want to like drink brain or like have a side of brain. Like I just, and if that's what he's advertising too, like, I don't even know what else is in there. And so I started to actually panic, like in my mind, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. But we went there anyway. And, the guy, we were there like 10 minutes early, and I could see him when we approached the place, I could see him smoking on the balcony, and he saw us there, and it was really raining that time. So we kind of went underneath the stairs, and I knocked on the place, and he eventually came down and he opened the door, and he's like, "You're early." And he closed the door on my face. And I was like, oh man, this guy's like going to be like rude or something. So I was like, all right, this is going to be a kind of an experience. And so we waited like 15 minutes in the rain. And then he when it was time to start, he like opened the door, and he's just like very short, not overtly rude, but just like that aura of like, you're kind of uncomfortable around him. And he kind of just like come in, and then like we go in, and very cool design of the place. Like there's really, the way it's decorated is really cool. It's very cozy, really small. It literally is just a table with 4 chairs around it. Me and my girlfriend were the first 2 there. We don't even know if there was going to be 2 other people, but we're like, man, this is gonna be so awkward if it's like just you and me and like the bartender who's like kind of rude the whole time. And eventually these other 2 people come, and they were from Nova Scotia. And so it was kind of cool that we were all from Canada, but it's still awkward because it's like, it's you and the person you came with beside you, and then directly in front of you, facing you, is the other pair, and you're all very close at this table, but it's not done in a way that like he didn't introduce it. He just like sat them there. And at first they weren't saying anything at all. Like they didn't even acknowledge us when they came in. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so uncomfortable. And so I just like broke the ice, and I was like, I don't even know if we were supposed to talk. Like everything was very weird, but I was like, hey, since we're going to be having this experience, I thought I would introduce myself. And so we started talking, and I was like, I didn't want to say it too loudly because I didn't want the guy to hear us. But I was like, hey, are you guys like adventurous with, like, are you worried about what we're about to have at all? And they were like, no, like she's like, I eat like cilantro and stuff. I'm pretty adventurous. And in my mind, I was like, I don't think you're in for cilantro here. Like, that's not too crazy. But and so while we were waiting, and again, the bartender guy did not talk to us at all. We had no idea, like, are we supposed to speak? Like, are we waiting? Like, he's just...
This reminds me, do you remember we had a sketch a long time ago where it was a Mike and Russ thing where it was a Halloween sketch? And remember that? And then you got in. Yeah, and like he had taped off a big part of the carpet. So we had to, it was only one other person in the room when you guys got there, and it was me. And we had to sit like knee to, like with our knees touching almost, and it was the most awkward thing. This totally sounds
truly, like, even though we were acting, that vibe we sold was truly like very accurate to the feeling we had here.
That's amazing.
And like, you were always worried about like offending him some way, because there was just no instructions at all, and like, he's Japanese, there's a language barrier, like everything was very weird. And then we started looking around, and like the wallpaper had was almost serial killer vibes. Like, it had it was all newspaper print of like there was one of them I caught, and I showed my girlfriend. I'm like, is that like a missing persons like thing on the wall, like of just like a random murder? And she was like, yeah, and we started noticing these weird subtle clues of like just creepy undertones. And she went to the bathroom, and I didn't see the inside, but she said there was even more stuff in there of like, you could find like a lot of all the pictures were from like a missing person was buried here, or like something like that. But like the place itself was not advertising itself as like that. And so it made it feel even more eerie. I'm like, is this guy serving us like poison or something?
Cafe, yeah.
Eating people, or drinking people.
Yeah, truly, I'm not joking. Like, by the time we started, I actually had a bit of an anxious sweat building, because I was like, there was just 4 of us. This guy could totally just kill us. Like he could eat us. Like, I don't know what, it was very unsettling the whole time. And so anyway, cutting ahead. So we did the 4 courses. Every course was very like, he didn't really speak. He would just like set it down, and then like he would explain what it is. And they were all very, very strange. I wish I could remember them. They were very odd. The last one I do remember was because it was like the dessert one, which was like an ice cream sandwich made of like fish egg and like ink squid. And it sounded revolting, but it was actually very, very good. But yeah, he found processes and ways of getting alcohol content without actually serving, you know, traditional alcohol. And so every drink was kind of interesting. None of them were bad. They all had elements that you would not maybe want to try, but none of them were like, I didn't have any brain. Like there was nothing like that, nothing crazy. So I got to the final course, like, oh, okay, phew, like nothing, I didn't have to try anything too crazy, but it was still unsettling the whole time. I remember that after the first course, when we first got our drinks, the girl across from me was like, well, cheers. And like, we did a little like, we hit glasses or whatever. And then I looked down, and there's like, everyone has a piece of paper that kind of has very little writing on it, but it kind of walks through the courses you might have. But the only real text says like, please do not clink glasses for a cheers. And we had all just done that. And I was like, oh no, like this is, he's going to hate us.
That's like the Keef up carp thing. So freakishly like that sketch. It's freaking me out.
And so by the end, my girlfriend also noticed that his name that he introduced himself was different. Like he was wearing this weird like overalls, and his name on his overalls was like Gus or something way different than what he said it was. And she was very observant and had just watched a true crime documentary, and like that was the name of like the killer. Like the guy had the same first name, and it was an odd name, like Gus or something like that would stand out. And so when we were leaving, we were like, man, that guy it must be on purpose that he's building this mystique of eerie vibes. And I think he put the brain on his Instagram to spook people out, because after the last course, at the very end, he says, we're going to have a tea ceremony. And once the tea ceremony began, he completely changed to like just a completely different guy. Like it was almost like he was playing a character the whole time. And then he just was like, okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, blah, blah, blah. And now we're going to have a tea ceremony. I'm like, oh man, was this all a shtick kind of thing? But this was the worst part for me. So this tea ceremony, and this won't probably not come across in a podcast, but like, it's again, very intimate. And again, he's not telling us any instructions. He's just kind of doing things silently, and it's very serious. Like it's a very kind of serious tea ceremony, very traditional. Like every movement is part of a choreographed kind of thing. And so he like pours the tea in a certain way, and then like without telling the guy, like he just like passes it to him, and the guy's like, the guy across me takes it, and I could tell he was so nervous. And he was just like, I drink this or I pass this? And so he just like, he took a sip and like passed it along. And this is the part where I'm like, is this where we all die now? Or are we all drinking like a shared poison kind of thing? But it was so serious that I started to get the giggles kind of thing. And there's a part where he's doing this like a prayer or of some sort, and it was so quiet, and I looked at everyone's faces, because everyone I knew was thinking the same thing as me, of like, we're not sure what to do. That I honestly started to like, I was biting my cheeks so hard because I was going to burst out laughing from how ridiculously uncomfortable this whole thing was. And I was like looking down, because I honestly was like, I haven't been that close to like bursting out laughing in an appropriate place in so long. But I can't believe I got through the whole, and it was just dragging on and on for so long. And I was just like trying my hardest not to laugh the whole time. And then we finally reached the end, and yeah, he's just like, okay, cool. So that was the end of it. You can tip me if you want, blah, blah, blah. I know we don't do that in Japan, but you can if you want. And then he turned into like the nicest guy ever. And yeah, I don't know. We started piecing together this whole thing. We're pretty certain that he really plays up the antisocial kind of guy to make you feel uncomfortable, and I think that he wants that, I guess. But
but that's not advertised at all. You have
And
no
the food isn't really themed
anywhere.
after a serial killer or
no, other than like using weird ingredients and things, it didn't seem like the actual thing that you were consuming. But if you went to his Instagram, it does seem like, he's there's brains, and like, you get there and the walls have like missing people photos,
So
but
weird.
at the same time, it was just so subtle that it also doesn't seem like that's what he's going for either. Because it's like you would have to almost be like, it was just by pure chance my girlfriend had watched this obscure documentary. It wasn't a famous killer. It was just like a obscure one. And like his name was named, I don't know. It was very strange. So that was unsettling, but a good fun story, I guess, to remember or experience.